ever heard the saying, it's raining like a cow peeing on a flat rock? That's what it's doing right now. Well, good morning, YouTube friends and family and all the other crazy folks of the world. Guys, I got to go out here this morning and check on my garden. Because yesterday afternoon, about dark time, it come a little rain here. We got about 3 inches of rain, but we got, I think, 2 inches of it in about 30 minutes. So this morning, it looks like I'm living on a lake again. That's getting to be pretty regular here the last several weeks. By the time the water gets back down into the ditch bank, we get another rain, a flood. 3 inches ain't that much rain, but when you get 2 inches of it in about 30 minutes, the ducks is enjoying it though, ain't they? But 3 inches of rain ain't that much rain, but when you get it so fast like we did, and that's how it's been happening lately. But right before the rain yesterday, I got out here and mowed my yard. And I healed my potatoes, fertilized them, and that's what we're going to look at this morning. I bet you as hard as that rain, it washed all the dirt back off my potatoes. So let's go take a look. So yeah, it pretty much as hard as that rain fell, washed all my soil right back off that I had healed up. So when it gets dry, I have to run my tiller down the rows and re-heal again. You see I got a pretty good stand of potatoes this year. The first row right here is the Purple Majesties. The second row there is the ones that's kind of skippy a little bit. And you can see that's the red Lesotas, and they're, when I planted them, I got in a little bit of the hurry. The eyes hadn't never sprouted out like I like, but I went on and planted them. And as you can see, the rows kind of got some skip spots. There's one skip there, 2, 3. That in there was probably 4, 5, 6, 7. So I had 7 that didn't sprout, unless they gonna be real late sprouting, but I don't think they're gonna sprout as tall as them there are. The third row over there is my Yukon Golds. You can see they came up real good. And then the last row over there is Kennebecks, and they came up good. But I guess the red Lesotas came up good too, since it ain't the 7 that didn't sprout up. But yeah, I'm gonna have to re-till my rows and re-heal my potatoes, because I just done that right before that rain hit. And it pretty much washed all my soil right back off the potatoes. So that's the way it goes sometimes. I thought I was going to get that healed up and put a little fertilizer on them and get a little rain and everything was going to be good to go. But we got too much rain too fast. Wasn't expecting that one. Ain't a whole lot changed in the greenhouse since my last little greenhouse update. Other than my tomatoes is getting extremely too tall. They need to be planted. So I'm going to have to dig some deep holes. You can see the peppers, they get on a little growth, but peppers is slow growing. My watermelons and cantaloupes and squash and cucumbers is done sprouted and growing. But now I had some, I'm pointing right here, I had some yellow squash that I'd bought seeds from Burpee. Was a new kind I was going to try, and none of them sprouted. So yesterday I replanted them, going to try again. Plus I planted some that different variety. So yeah, I've always had good luck with burpee, but them seeds there wasn't no good, cause not the first one of them sprouted. So you can see my tomatoes. But while I was in the greenhouse yesterday, I went on and I took these VEVOR hydroponic buckets, and I got 6 of them I went on and planted. That and there's a eggplant, and I'm gonna have a cabbage in one. I got a Hycenator tomato in one. I got a celebrity tomato in one. I got a Hycenator bell in one, and then Italian ice tomato in one. And there's my other little Italian ice tomato I started in my own just homemade hydroponic bucket. And guys, when I started that one, it was a little seedling about that tall I stuck in there. So it's been doing its whole life growing right here in that little hydroponic bucket. But I was going to show y'all, since the weathers look like it's going to stay cooler, I went on and hooked the air pump up to these 6 buckets. There it is, right there. And this is what it does inside the buckets. Now these was just put in here yesterday. But this celebrity and this Hycenator, see how the roots are starting to stick out, starting to go down into the water? Them's been in there about a good week. I think around a week. I can lose track of days now, maybe 8 or 10 days. Yeah, the Hycenator here was the first one I done. It's been in here the longest. It's probably been in here 2 weeks. And look at all the roots. So that's how the little hydroponic bucket's gonna work. Again, I'm just trying a cabbage, eggplant, and I got 2 more buckets. When I put them out in the garden, I decide then what I'm gonna put in the other 2. But that's a little greenhouse update. I know I got a few of my viewers that kind of like watching along, see how things is growing, and I got some channels I watch. I like doing the same thing. But now we finna go back in the shed. It's a little windy and cool, but I got something in there that I want to check out, show you guys. So let's go to the shed. On the way, you can see my fig trees. That's the Celeste fig tree that I just planted out early this spring. The Black Mission down here, it's just now starting to make little buds on it. And then the one down here on the end, I shouldn't have done it, but I did do it. I planted that one out in the fall. And then this winter, when it got so cold in them teens and down to 9 degrees, I set a plastic barrel over the top of it. Well, I should have done like the other ones. I should have left it in the greenhouse through the winter, because I don't know if it's gonna make it. This is the brown turkey. I figure it'll make it. Well, yeah, it's starting some little buds coming out, but it was dead on the top, about that high up, and I just cut it off to where I got it cut off to where it didn't look like it was so dead. So it's gonna make it. It just would have been better if I'd have waited till the spring to put that one out too. But I thought it would do all right, since I set a plastic barrel over the top of it when it got so cold. But I guess 9 degrees, it don't matter what's sitting on top of it, does it? So guys, we back in the shop, and I got quail eggs in my homemade incubator here. They've been in here for about, I don't know, 3 or 4, 5 days now. But we got a new little gadget. Y'all know how I am about tools and gadgets. This here is the Wild Badger 4-in-1 multi-tool 40 volt. Multi-tool means it comes with the pole saw. That's an 8-inch bar. You can untwist this little knob, pull that little button, and quickly change it to your weed trimmer. Once you pull that little stopper right there off, slide it in there till it pops in that little hole, tighten that up. And the Wild Badger 40 volt weed trimmer here also comes with, instead of just the string head, it comes with a big metal blade. In the pack has your instructions book, and I ain't gonna do an assembly video here because there's plenty of them on YouTube, but we are finna go test this baby out. It comes with your wrench and Allen wrenches, and them are to change the head from your weed eater string to your metal blade. That was my heater over there talking to me, said it was going off. Hang that right back up over there. And it comes with the Hedge trimmer. Now on the Hedge trimmer, guys, Wild Badger's got some good products for that daggone prices now. But the Hedge trimmer here, it swivels, so you can turn it, I think, as 160 degrees. It'll turn for different angles. We're going to test that out here in just a little bit too. But to show y'all how good their products are, I mean, this is heavy made. I already have the Wild Badger 4-in-1 multi-tool in the gas power. And at the end of this video, I'll put the little box there so you can click on it if you want to go see the review and demonstration of it. I also have the Wild Badger backpack blower. And guys, the backpack blower's in my truck right now. The Wild Badger gas powered weed eaters on my lawnmower mowing trailer, because I take it with me and they get used. I had them all last summer. Now the backpack blower is my main blower. I use it every yard I mow because I blow driveways off, I blow the porches off, I blow the car porches off. That's all part of my deal when I mow a yard. The weed eater, I kind of consider it my backup, the gas powered Wild Badger, because I have a Mariyama, and the reason I like it for my main one, because I do so many yards a day, it's lighter. But when it runs out of string, instead of taking time to restring it, I grab that Wild Badger, finish up my day. When I get home, I string it back up. Also, I keep it with me because I can always have the little pole saw attachment and the Hedger attachment in the toolbox on my trailer in case I run into anything I need to cut while I'm out working. But still, all in all, it got used a lot. Now I'm going to show y'all on this Wild Badger. This is the Hedger end. I got 2 grease inserts, and you can see I already greased mine. You want to do that when you get something new. Go squirt you some grease in there. But they come with grease inserts on them, so they're greasable. Which, what does that mean? That means they're going to last that much longer than some of that other stuff they're selling out there on the market. Same thing with your little pole saw end right here. Like I said, that's an 8-inch bar. This is where you put your bar oil. It has a grease zert right here. So where you grease it, it greases that gear going to the bar and chain here. Now a lot of that stuff out there, that's even some of the more expensive, even if they have a way to grease it or oil it, they don't send it with a grease zert. Even the Mariyama I have, was what, 3 times the price of this. They didn't even put a grease zert in here. It had a little bolt you could take out and put, but I had to put my own grease zert in it. So wow, Badger's got it going on here. Now this is considered a 40 volt. It comes with 1 charger, but it comes with 2 4 amp hour 20 volt batteries. So the reason it's called a 40 volt, since we got the weed trimmer head on here, that's what we'll test out first. You use both batteries at the same time, so that makes you a 40 volt multi-tool. So what we gonna do, I fully charged these batteries, and speaking of that, they have a button right here on the end you push, and when the 4 green lights light up, that way if you out there and you want to know how much battery power you got left, you can check it on each battery. But I fully charged these batteries. Now I can't tell you how long it takes to charge them, because they was over, I'd say they was probably 65 to 70% charged when I got them out of the box. But I fully charged them. We're going to take this, since I got the weed string trimmer here on there, we finna go out here. Now my yard, I ain't got nothing that needs weed eating, but when I test something out, the lot next door to me's got some tall grass, and we finna go out there and we're gonna weed eat. I'm probably gonna weed eat about a 300 square foot block. That'll be a 10 by 30 block. Now 300 square foot of weed eating, to me, and I'm speaking for the average yards now. I ain't talking about somebody with yards like mine that's 2, 3, 4 acres. I'm talking about the average homeowner, which is what would want a battery powered, not somebody that owns a farm or a homestead that's got 5 acres to do. I think you need to go with the gas powered myself. But the reason I'm going to do 300 square foot out there weed eating, because 300 square foot is about a good average of what a average homeowner would need to weed eat around their house, around their little shop, around a few little trees. That's an average homeowner to me. Somebody that lives on a lot, maybe even 1 acre. And I ain't talking about letting their grass grow up this high. I'm talking about somebody that, for yards. Battery powered stuff is to keep your yards maintained. They're not to let stuff grow up waist high like on a farm out there somewhere and then grab it and go weed eating. That's what battery tools is built for. Or at least to me, that's not. You're gonna let your grass get that tall before you weed eat, I think you need to check out the gas powered. But anyway, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna weed eat about a 300 square foot block. Now I'm gonna time it. And the reason I'm gonna time it, I ain't trying to see how fast I can do it. I'm gonna time how long these batteries are run. Then we're gonna come in here and we're gonna probably get the little hedger here, and I got just a small thing of hedges that we can just use to use this. I'll time that, and then we're gonna put the pole saw on. And I'm sure I can find some limbs out here, and we're gonna go saw some limbs, and we're gonna see how long we run it all together on this fully charged batteries. Another thing I want to mention is this thing's light. That's the good thing about battery power. But a 40 volt, we're gonna go see how she cuts. So let's go out here and find us a spot. Now the grass out here ain't as tall as it was when I tested out and made my other videos. And guys, the reason I'm doing it out here is because everybody knows what it looks like to weed eat around your house and stuff. I'm trying to show you what the product will do. Now this grass out here is getting about a foot tall, and it's wet, because y'all seen at the beginning of the video that we got 3 inches of rain yesterday at dark. And it's in the AM right now. So I'm finna weed whack out here about a 10 by 30. Now guys, I done went further than 30 foot in length because I'm only about 8 foot wide, because that's the perfect width for me to do this. So that what y'all just seen there is about 300 square foot of cutting. Now the only battery powered weed eater I ever owned was a little 20 volt Black & Decker, and I think if you look back in my videos, I got a video using it. It was just a 20 volt, and that little thing was nice, but now it was for smaller projects. I had it when I lived in my travel trailer, because a lot of them RV parks wasn't that great about mowing, and then they wouldn't weed eat around your trailers because they didn't want to hit no sewer line or your water hose or nothing, so you had to take care of that yourself, or at least I like taking care of mine myself. So I bought that little 20 volt, and it was great for that, but you wouldn't want it to do a nice size house like this right here. I can tell you right now, a homeowner, this is all they need, just doing your home, if you somebody that keeps your grass weed eated before it got over your knee high. I see some folks out here in the country, they want to wait till it gets up here this high and then call you, how much you charge me to weed eat? Well, I done got now, if I ain't mowing their yard, I don't go do weed eating. But anyway, from what I'm seeing with this Wild Badger right now, I already knew they made good products on how long I've had the gas powered one and the backpack blower. And while I'm speaking of them guys, I got a steel and I got a Maruyama. Actually, I got 2 steels and then I got a steel blower. That Wild Badger weed eater, that gas powered, and that Wild Badger backpack blower gas powered is so much easier to crank. On cold startups, the first startup of the day, usually when I prime the bulbs on them, 3, sometimes 4 pulls is all it takes. After that first warm up run for the day, usually 1 pull. If I prime my bulb, don't forget to prime my bulb. And usually I'm bad about forgetting to turn the switch on when I pull that first pull. But when I prime the bulb and have my switch on ready to go, usually that 1 pull the rest of the day. Now, the other thing I'm going to compare this to, my nephew's got, he's got everything Makita battery powered. I think he's got everything they make. Now, when I went and mowed his yard a couple times, I used his little, well, it actually is his wife's. And I can't remember what volt it is. I can't remember if it's 24 volt or what volt. But I'll look it up and pop a picture up. But I use his Makita. Now, I know Makitas is some good stuff. But I guarantee you it costs twice as much as this, and you probably ain't going to get all the attachments. But I'd put this Wild Badger, just from what I've done right now, I'd put it up against that Makita any day. Now, how long this is going to hold up and last, that's one of these things that I give y'all updates on, just like I do anything else that I do reviews on or show y'all. I sometime later down the road give y'all updates, reviews, let y'all know how it's still going for me, or if something happened and I didn't like it. But this right now has really surprised me. So now I'm going to say I've done about a 400 square foot. And I know the average home ain't over 400 square foot of weed eating, because the way I figure weed eating, just say if your house is 80 foot long and 40 foot wide, what is that? All the way around is 160 plus 40, 200, 240 feet. Well, you're only going to cut a sweep about a foot wide. So that would be 240 square foot around your house. So figure out what you got and you'll see how long it took me here. Now, one thing I didn't mention, it comes with this handy little strap, and they make it easier because it makes it balanced to where you ain't holding no weight, you just swinging. Another thing I didn't mention is how you string the head on it. We'll look at that when we get back into the shop and what size string the head actually take. So let's go in there and put on the pole saw or the Hedger and go test it out hedging. So now that we back in the shed, guys, after doing that much weed eating, I'm going to say about 400 square foot, I still have 3 bars on each battery. The trimmer head here is a twist and feed head, so you ain't got to take it apart and wind it up like you did on some of the older styles. The twist and feed head is a faster and quicker to load, and if you need to know how to load that, I think I showed that on my video on the gas powered one. Now I'm going to put my glasses on right here. The cutting diameter of the line is 13 inches. The line itself that it takes is 0.08 inch line, and it holds about 13.2 feet of line, and it's running at 5,500 RPMs. Now the cutting diameter on the brush cutter blade is 10 inches. And I'm not going to put this on there and cut no brush, because if I want to cut brush, personally I'm going to use my gas powered one, because I'm not going to cut brush with a battery powered one and run the chance of tearing it up. Because this weed eater right here is going to stay out in my garden shed, and it's going to be used to weed eat around my garden. So now we're going to change and put on the hedger. Now, like I said, we ain't got much hedges here at the house, but I got a little bitty. They need shaping up a little bit, so we're gonna put this on here. And when you put it on there, and when you put swapping out heads, they have a little hole right here in the side of it. You line up with that pin, and when you slide it down and that pin pops in place, you know you got it. So now let's take the hedger out there. Let me see which way I'm gonna want it turned. Probably like that, 'cause I'm gonna go right across the top first. And let's do some hedging. Now some of you's gonna want to know the length of that. Instead of looking it up, I'm gonna measure it. So the length from the tip to the very back of the batteries looks like that's 7 foot 5 inches. Then we'll measure it when we put the pole saw on there, but I'm expecting that's probably gonna be about the same length, but then you can, being your height, you can easily cut stuff 10 foot high. So now let's go check out how the hedger works. I think straight is gonna be my best bet for the top. All right, guys. So as a user, you may have wanted to twist this around doing different angles to where I just held the hedger itself at a different angle. Now the only negative thing I have found so far about this, and it don't have nothing to do with Wild Badger, because all your products is made like this, even your electric power tools. It's got this little safety button right here on the side that you have to smash before you can smash the trigger. Now, living in this wonderful US we live in, they have to do all that stuff for their safety. But for me, I hate it. People that ain't never worked is the ones that likes to support this kind of stuff. And they don't know how aggravating it is when you're trying to work with all these safety features. But that gets a little awkward when you turn it, especially the way I was turning it different angles instead of turning the end up there, which no matter which way I turn the end, being right-handed, I was going to have to turn my Hedger motor in one way or the other, and it kind of makes it aggravating pushing that safety button. But again, that's not just on Wild Badgers, that's on any of them. If it ain't on that side, it's going to be on this side. If it ain't on the side, it's going to be on the top. It's going to be some kind of safety button that you can't pull the trigger without pushing the button first. Not going to show y'all, but there's an easy way around that stuff. So now we're finna go get the pole saw and go cut some limbs. Let's see where we at on battery power. It's still showing 3 full bars, guys. So now we're going to disconnect the Hedger. And Wild Badger also makes the handheld style blowers and hedgers, gas powered and I think battery powered. But as with everything, I'm going to leave a link in the description below this video where you can go check all their products out. And guys, I said this because I already own Wild Badger products. For the price of these and what all you get with them, you can't beat them. Now yes, you can buy them more expensive name brands, but the problem is you're going to pay the same price for just a battery powered weed trimmer as you can get all of this, if not more. And the average homeowner ain't gonna wear out no tools like this. You can, right on Amazon, you can buy extra batteries for these if you think you need extra batteries. But I'm gonna leave the links in the description below where you can check them out. But even at this point right now, I'm giving this thing a thumbs up, because I already know what Wild Badger makes. Now we're going to measure the pole saw here from the tip of the bar to the tip of the gun. It's 1 foot shorter than the Hedger here. It's 6.5, but still you can reach 10 foot easily. Now I got to get a little bar oil. That's one thing you want to do is put you some bar oil in here. Don't never run it without no bar oil. I got some out there in my mowing trailer. I'm going to pour me a little bar oil in there. We finna go out there and cut some limbs, but I'm gonna go and tell y'all viewers something right now. I ain't gonna go crazy cutting a bunch of limbs out there, because you know what happened? That means I gotta turn around and pick all that mess up. So we're gonna whack a few limbs to show y'all how good it's gonna cut. I got confidence it's gonna cut great, because I own battery powered chainsaws and the little battery powered mini hand saw, and they do great. But we finna go cut some limbs just to prove it. Let me get me oiled up and let's go. Yeah, I can see now I'm finna create work for me to do. So that limb right there, all of my limbs in my yard, I pruned this fall to where I can mow under them without them hitting me. But we finna cut a couple of good limbs right here. Here's one about 8 foot top high that's running over into my cedar tree. And it's about 3.5 inch diameter. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna cut it off up here. Then we're just gonna cut it in some pieces here. We're going back down here to this other tree, and I got 2 more limbs. Now I will say, you can't expect this to cut with a gas powered pole saw, but it just done real good if you just having this as a homeowner. This ain't for no commercial jobs that you're going to be using every day, because yeah, that's the cutter here, the pole saw part. It's a little slower cutting, or a good bit slower cutting than a gas powered, especially even the gas powered Wild Badger I got. Same setup but gas powered. It cuts way faster because it's running more RPMs, so it's going to cut faster. But for the homeowner that needs the pole saw, a hedger for a few hedges, a weed eater, and you want electric, not fool with gas, like I said, guys, I can't see where you can go wrong. I mean, greasable heads. I mean, it's heavy duty made. It ain't made of like old cheap plastic. This plastic on it ain't like some of that stuff that's, for example, I got a little yellow chainsaw off of Amazon, a gas powered, because I wanted a little bitty 12-inch to do my pruning and stuff when I'm doing yard cleanup. Not have to use the heavier one. I want it light. Even though it does good, and I give it a good rating for what it is and for what it costs, the plastic on it is kind of lighter. I don't know what you call it. It's a lighter duty made plastic. This here's a good heavy duty made plastic, just like on your name brand stuff. So let's go cut a couple more limbs. See if I can get y'all up there a little bit closer where y'all can see. Now that's about a 2 1/4 inch diameter limb we just cut. Now I'm gonna cut this in twice so y'all can see the first cutting. This one here's about 3, somewhere 3, 3 1/2. And guys, that's oak tree. That ain't no soft pine. That ain't no birch. That's a hard oak we cutting. I'm gonna cut this right here off, and then that's it, because I gotta clean that up today now. Actually, that bigger limb there, I'm gonna cut up them pieces like I just cut off and put over in my little wood pile for my heater next winter. So after cutting all that up, guys, we still have, we down to 2 green bars now. Now I just made more cuts on these few limbs and cutting them limbs up over there. But like I said, the bigger pieces I'm gonna put in my wood pile than the average person is gonna need to trim up their limbs. So guys, there it is. If you want a good value for your money that don't break the bank, and you can get all the attachments in one package, I would suggest the 40-volt Wild Badger here. If you want a gas powered one that don't break the bank, check out their gas powered stuff and the rest of their equipment. Again, I'll leave a link in the description below this video where you can go check it out, purchase it if you so choose to. One of them links will be my Amazon affiliated link, which don't cost you a penny more. I do get a couple pennies off of every sale. And guys, it's greatly appreciated. But there you have it. All I can do is give y'all thumbs up to Wild Badger. Again, this will be the third time. And they're making good products for the value. I got a friend of mine who owns the same weed eater and backpack blower setup as I do. And he'll tell you right now, they're easier to crank than them orange ones. And I almost forgot to add, after 32 minutes, and that was my time of doing the weed eating, the hedging, and cutting the limbs. I have run this for 32 minutes. I timed it. Of course, I had to time it, stop, time it, stop, time it, stop, but I timed it. And we're still at 3 green bars on each battery. So therefore, that tells me that even myself, I got 4 acres here, all kind of mess around my garden. I think I could weed eat my whole place on one charge. And you get through with it, put your batteries back on charge, fully charge them, take them off, you'll be ready for next time. But guys, as always, I hope you enjoyed these little videos. I hope it helps some of you out. Maybe you're trying to make a decision on what to purchase. But as always, if you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. It helps me on my YouTube algorithm. Get my channel out there for more folks to see it. And as always, I hope y'all have a great day and a blessed week. God bless. See y'all next time. Alright, we're going to see if the Wild Badger's going to make a liar out of me. I told y'all 4 pulls. Now, it's been on the trailer. But now last night while it's raining, I got this bucket I slide up over it. I actually got a bucket for this one up here too. I'm going to get it around here. Make sure y'all turn around here where y'all can see. Alright, make sure y'all still around here. We finna prime the bubble about 10 times. Make sure it's on start. So it says start instead of choke. Starts choke. Now here we go. 1 pull. Now it don't always do that on 1 pull, guys. That shocked me there. Usually it's about 3 or 4 pulls when it ain't been fired up. Maybe it knew it was on camera. It better act right. Let's see what the backpack blower does. Now the backpack blower's been sitting in the rain. I ain't got no cover for it. I'm gonna put it back over here on the fender. Y'all gonna have to turn back around again. Now the backpack blower, normally where I mess up, right here is the on and off switch for it. So when I get done, I push it up to kill it. But usually I get it out to the next place and I'll pull at least 1 time, sometimes twice before I realize, hey, you gotta turn it on to crank. So I got the power on. Now surely this one ain't gonna crank on one pull since it was actually getting rained on last night. 3 inches of rain. Let's prime her up there a little bit, make sure she's on choke. Guys, I'm gonna have to get back here on the trailer. That's a little too high there. Let's move it back here where I ain't been over so, ain't reaching up so high. I mean, we on start, switch is on. 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh. I'm on 3 and it ain't started. 4, 5. So the backpack blower took 5 times, but it's been in the back of the truck 3 inches of rain on it last night. I'm happy with that. And it's going back in the back of the truck, so in the morning, I got to go get to work on mowing.